Hi, Dave Snyder here. It is the third day of November. Oh, look at that. Flashing screen. Anyways, third day November 2016. And, you know, I've been showing these things, these overlays for a number of years now. And my subscribers have seen me do some pretty crazy overlays. I know, with some crazy pictures and comparing things and finding things. But I'm telling you, it gets easier. It gets so much easier, but then it gets harder when they try to downgrade everything. They've downgraded everything. And those who've been subscribed to me for a long time or watched my videos for a long time know that, like the lunar South Pole, when we used to see it in the weather, it used to show so clear. It used to show so perfectly round and with the whole detail. And we'd see it in Asia all the time. They don't show anything anymore in the weather. I can't find weather where they show anything worth seeing. I mean, sometimes you get a little piece of something that still, it's really difficult at times to show people. And anyways, but those people that have, were there and seen those videos, they're still on my channel way back there. And some of the older ones aren't, correct. But I've gotten the ones I do now are in the right places usually. And anyways, last night I was looking at this. I was looking in Google Images for pictures of Medusa because of the snakes and Mare Oriental. I was comparing it to Mare Oriental and all that, and I found this picture of Beyonce, and I don't give a shit. I don't like her music. I don't like her music. I don't like the way she dances and her lyrics I don't like it. Anyways, she's the perfect moon goddess, though. She actually makes the most perfect moon goddess. No kidding. The hair, the lunar South Pole sign, that's not, I mean, it can be looked at as 666. Since most people look at it as that, whatever, look at it that way. I know what it actually is. I mean, I just popped in my head last night. I couldn't believe it, how it came to me. I just thought, wait a minute. Because I was looking at this costume first, and you can see the chains are there, gold chains, as a matter of fact. And I was thinking it was Mare Oriental at first because of the Medusa thing kind of steered me in the wrong direction. But this got the medallions, the coins in the middle, and the perfect circle. That's what that is. That's totally Schrodinger. She is Schrodinger with the cobra, with the Egyptian headdress. Somewhat, it's like a Roman one, but I call it the Columbia head, basically. This is like the Egyptians, where they have the two cobras. That represents basically the same thing. The hair, like the Sphinx, or the Egyptian, how it comes out like kind of a pyramid shape. I'll show you in a minute. I got some pictures coming in a minute. I'll compare it to all that stuff. Okay, so this is what the picture that got me going right here. And then, well, actually not this one, but it was like this one, because you can see the medallion, like, perfect circles like Schrodinger is, and then the headdress, totally, that is what I call the Columbia spot inside of Schrodinger. There's a crater, or there's a part inside of Schrodinger, the very top and the very middle of it, as the humans on the earth seen it in the past, because god damn it, they've seen it in the past. It's in our weather. That Schrodinger crater is in our weather. I ain't not joking about that. As well as I do, if you've been watching, that it is in our weather. So let's just get that out there. I'm tired of messing with that part. That's in our weather. Face it, people. So anyway, the chains that bind us, basically that's what that. I won't go into it that deep. But anyways, this part right here, her whole headdress and her hair, she is the perfect goddess for this crater. No kidding. Watch this. Okay, so I brought up this picture, and this is not a very good picture because it's blown up quite a bit, but I just kind of overlaid the eye over her eye, and you can already see this is like the mouth right here. This is an important spot. This is not a joke. This is serious. This is an important spot inside this crater, and this crater faced the earth, and you better believe it is important because it's influenced so many things in your life. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Just hold on. So that's what I aligned it to. I knew that's what that was when I seen it. It's the same thing. This is Egyptians, looked at this and styled themselves to a lot of people, Mayans, a lot of people, civilizations. Believe me, trust me. I'll show you in a second. Here we go. This is another picture of it, and this one's not. This one's flipped over. The other one is I had to put it the way that she had her face, so. But that's the part right there. This is how this faced the Earth. Humans on the Earth, and it was close to the Earth. It had to be close to the Earth because it left its print all over the globe. And I mean, just accept that. If you haven't seen it, you can check it. Check into it. Watch some of my old videos that cover that. Okay, well, if you had to look at this crater every day, let's say you lived on Earth way back when this crater absolutely faced the planet Earth, because it did. Okay, so when it did, and it was really close to the Earth, what would you looked at that every time there was a full moon, or if maybe the moon was always full. But anyways, you can get a lot out of that picture right there. There's a lot in that picture. First of all, this is what I was just talking about her first picture. The first one, let's see if that even lines up right now. Well, yeah, you can see the shape. And here's this actually, what the Egyptians thought this was, what they looked at this as, was the cobra head. If you look at the Sphinx, I have the Sphinx up here. Where do I have the Sphinx at? Right here? Okay, here's a picture of the Sphinx. And you see the shape. And this represents the cobra, basically. It doesn't on Egyptian headdresses, the cobra is more pronounced. It's like, it looks like, but this is on stone, so it's kind of flat. Okay, well, there's a cobra on the king's crown, the king cobra. And this is, you can see that this is, I've done other pictures of the Egyptian headdresses, and they fit better than this one actually. But this one shows you get an idea. And there's kind of a face that you can see in there. Plus, we don't see it as good as we probably should be seeing it. You know what I mean? But trust me, that's where that comes from. This face of the Earth. That's what the Sphinx is built off of this. So is Stonehenge. Stonehenge is the same, is a circle, and it's because they built it to represent this crater, and because it has the inside, stones that go inside the circle. I've overlaid it. Trust me, same thing. Stonehenge. This faced the Earth. This faced the Earth. Okay, so anyways, I've overlaid pictures of Christ in this thing with the angels, and everything's there. Trust me, this is important to everybody on the planet. This is where your coins come from. Imagine a old coin from the colonial or whatever around them times of George Washington, and with his hat on, right? Or they always wore those wigs. The wigs, they're the same shape as this, like the outline of this, the wig things. They were all trying to copy all the fashion back in them days, and probably still today, obviously, because of the costume she's wearing. It ties to this. I'm not even joking about that. That's a serious thing. This thing shapes the typhoons. It shapes hurricanes on the Earth. Where it's left its mark on the Earth are important places like Rio de Janeiro, Rome, and Paris or something. All over the planet, it's like left its mark on the planet. Somehow it did. Okay, it's in our weather, and you'll see it all around the planet backwards in our weather. Okay, so anyways, I've been trying to show that for years now, and it's not, I'm not making any of it up. It all checks out if you just look into it. It faced the Earth. Let's just get that out of the way. I mean, you got to face that. All the craters, big craters on the moon, at one time faced the Earth because their prints are in our weather. Mare Oriental, Tycho, the lunar South Pole, Imbrium, Copernicus. You can see them all. They're all in there. And plus the other ones I've only done a few times, and I don't even usually mess with them because I don't even have to. I've showed enough with the ones that I use. So anyways, what else I got here? I got a picture of, this is the crater, the whole, crater, and the lunar South Pole is over here, this part of it. Okay, now let's get to the 666 thing. Let me show you here. Turn all this off. Okay, first, I think I brought up this picture, and this is one of my best pictures of this pattern. One of the best ones that I actually saved. Not the best I've ever seen, but the best one I've really got saved, I think. And it's a super typhoon, the biggest one. I think it's the biggest one. Maybe not. It's not. Maybe not the biggest one, but I thought it was the one that hit the Philippines. It's huge. It was on September 14th, 2004, 2014, or yeah, I think so, something like that. And it was huge. And this is what pattern it is right here. I brought up this next, the lunar South Pole, right? That's the lunar South Pole, along with Schrodinger, and it's the same pattern. This used to show like this, like you see it here. It used to show around the whole planet like this. Whenever you seen that perfect circle, you knew it was Schrodinger and the lunar South Pole. You knew it was. Okay. I mean, you got the Bay of Bengal, where there's all kinds of volcanic activity here, and this whole area, the Lake Toba, is in that area. You know, Sri Lanka, or not Sri Lanka. What's that other place that had the big earthquake over here? You know, can't remember. But that's why that area is like that. That's why it's so volcanic and whatever. Okay, they call this area the third pole of the Earth. Okay, third pole of the Earth, and it is like the third pole of the Earth. Okay, so there's that. And what I was saying was that. Okay, where's my good picture of? See, that was too small. I had to blow it up too much, so I had to get another one. This is the best one right here. Wait, yeah, this one. Check it out. This was the second one I did. That was it, really. Oh, okay, so there it is with the lunar South Pole, but check it out with the other pattern. Not that one. This one. Turn this one off for now. Because, you know, some of us, I mean, maybe not some of us. I shouldn't speak for anybody, but myself, I know how important this crater is to the people on Earth. Whether they know it or not, whether you know it or not, I know it. I know how important this crater was to people on Earth because it's all around the planet. And when you see a typhoon, you overlay with typhoon, it is the same pattern as you see in this lunar South Pole. In the lunar South Pole. So it just tells you how important it was to people on Earth. They've seen that crater. It used to face the Earth, just like Mare Oriental. One time, before it hit right here and left this big circle on the Earth, Mare Oriental, okay, it faced the Earth at that, and then at some point, this faced the Earth, and then at another point, Mare Moscovians once faced the Earth. So, anyways, they had to because they're on the other side of the moon now, and they leave their print perfectly on the Earth, and it's not a coincidence, and it's not. You know, you can put the Earth together this way with these patterns from the moon. No kidding. So anyways, there's that. I think that is what that is, 666 if you want it to be. It pretty much could mean the same thing because this is like, you know, the end of this is going to, I call it the Christ crater. This crater right here. I do. This one, right? I've called it the Christ crater for a long time. First time I lined Christ in there, basically, I put the Christ picture in there, and you can see the whole thing really clear. And I've been calling it that ever since. But people, you know, probably think there's always a duality to everything. So the second thing would be the opposite of whatever. You know, the good thing is the bad thing is what some people see it as. Maybe they don't think it's bad. Maybe they think it's good. They just worship it because it gives them power. Obviously, it does somehow. Because basically, the only people that seem to know about it are, you know, people that work for their, you know, take energy from us for their masters. They're called youmas in Sailor Moon. Have my pictures. Where'd she go? There we go. Boom. I know what that is because this is the rest of it. That the hat, everything. Look at it. See how it is when it's this way? How it's got the like the head has like a thing on the top like a crown. It's been looked at as a crown because this is where basically when you do the Christ ones, Jesus stands right here with this would be like his crown because it's just this is where Jesus came from. I think that this is basically all kinds of gods and goddesses, you name it. One thing it's not is the Easter Bunny. So anyways, now that you don't believe a fucking word I said, anyways, this right here represents this part right here. See this right here is looked at as different things to different people. The Egyptians seen that as a cobra. This is just like a really, phony cobra looking thing. But that's what it is. It's basically the same thing. It's this. The badge in the middle of the Sphinx head, the cobra in the middle of the Sphinx head right here. Or you look at any kind of hat. You can look up hats like Minutemen hats are shaped like this. The pyramid shape. That's what they tried to fashion themselves like this. The wigs are that shape. The wig things they wore because they've seen this. The Pope. If you look at pictures of like the weather that it creates, some of the older satellite images that show really good weather, that show the real pattern that this is left behind, you'll see it shows a lot of detail when you look at it. And this is leaving a lot of stuff out. It's really, not a good image, but it shows enough for me. This is all over North America. This spot right here. You look at Columbia. Every state has a Columbia in North America, or Columbus. If it don't have a Columbia, it has a Columbus. Every state. Okay. California has a Columbia. South Carolina has a Columbia. Every state has something Columbia that's important. Right? Check that out. Or a city. Usually a city. It could be a small town. It could be anything, but it'll have one. Each place, or it'll have a Columbia River or something. And that's the Columbia spot right there. This spot right here, I call this the Columbia spot. And when you look at the goddess Columbia, look it up, you'll see that type of headdress on, something like that. Or you might see a different one, but this is one that's typical of those images that you get from those, the ancient things or whatever. The statues, look up statues of goddesses, they wear the same thing. And that's where it comes from. Right where I showed you. This circle she's wearing represents crater, Schrodinger. That signal, or that sign she's showing, represents the lunar South Pole and Schrodinger. When the poles reverse on the Earth, the lunar South Pole hits the North Pole. That's why Santa Claus lives at the North Pole. That's why we have the Arctic Circle where the moon once sat right there at one time. You see pictures of Jesus standing on the Earth. When he's standing on the Earth, he's right on the North Pole, pointing at the moon. So I'm just saying. Then you have the ball drop on New Year's Eve, where they drop what? Where do they drop from up at New Year's Eve? What's this celebration? They drop a big ball that represents the moon falling to Earth, basically. That's what that is, and that happens not only in Times Square. It happens all over the world. Actually, on New Year's, and sometimes not on New Year's, but it represents. That's where the idea comes from. The ball drop, whether it be a beach ball, whatever. So that's what that represents. The ball. This is, a lot of things. The coins. Your coins come from this. Logos. Like look up any county seal, any state seal. The round shape of a state seal with the inside and the comes from this crater. How do I know? Because it once faced the Earth. You can see that it once faced the Earth. That's how I know. If I didn't think that it faced the Earth at any time, I would say, well, that would be impossible. Just like you're probably thinking. But it has faced the Earth. That's all I got to say. Have a good night. Check it out.